How's about we skip the long-winded introduction I usually bring to the table and just cut right to the chase? You clicked on this video either to hear me ramble about the history of OTV, or you want to hear my opinions on Pokimane, and don't worry, we'll get there. But on the off chance you clicked on this to actually learn who these people are, well then, let me give you the quick rundown. Content creators coming together to make organizations, aka orgs, have become a pretty big thing over on Twitch, and OfflineTV has pretty successfully secured the title of being one of, if not the most popular and controversial org on the site. The members Scarra, Disguised Toast, LilyPichu, Micheal Reeves, Pokimane, Sydeon, Masayoshi, Quarter Jade, and formerly Fedmyster have all made a name for themselves individually, whether it be through years of memes and collabs, or their participation in big League of Legends events, and even their viral videos, although you also might know them for their many controversies each. Today I wanted to explore the history of OfflineTV in a bit of a different way than I usually do, looking at each creator individually and what makes OfflineTV so interesting as a collective. Because this group has some of the highest highs and lowest lows I've ever seen in an org, and the journey these creators have gone through is truly wondrously worrying. OfflineTV, a collection of Twitch's biggest streamers, a crackhead, and a degenerate. The group was formed back in 2017, following a collaboration between Scarra, PokeLols, LilyPichu, Based Yuna, and Pokimane, with the goal of making videos about more than just video games. Very soon after the group's creation, their editor Fedmyster would officially join the main roster in front of the camera, and soon after Fed came Disguised Toast. However, with all of these changes, Based Yuna and PokeLols would soon leave this group. Honestly, considering the controversies, this is probably a great decision, but financially, I could have made a better choice. OfflineTV became well known for their great chemistry, fun streams, wireless keyboard pranks, Pokimane clickbait, because everyone does that at least once in their career, and of course, challenge videos. Within 3 months, the channel had reached 100,000 subscribers, and in another 8, they would surpass 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. As time went on, there was a clear pattern with their most popular videos. You have fan mail reactions.
I see the word bazinga.
I think
You have mafia videos.
We got a spicy episode for you today. So,
If you would like to see more Mafia videos,
Why did the accent change?
More Pokimane clickbait. And soon their very own podcast. For a long time, this was the pattern. Fan mail, challenge, clickbait, mafia, challenge, clickbait, challenge, collaborations, fan mail, and, clickbait. But as 2019 came to an end, a new pattern had emerged. These creators were getting very close to another very clickbaitable creator. One Micheal Reeves. And yeah, he joined and changed everything forever. All it took was this one video of him giving Yvonnie emotional trauma, and he was soon synonymous with views for this group. Soon after he joined, they reached 1 million subscribers, and they really ramped up production, collaborations, comedy, editing, and creativity. OfflineTV stood out as a fun collaboration. Everyone loved Micheal and Lily's new relationship, everyone loved Scarra and Toast's dumb humor, and no one, absolutely no one, disliked Pokimane. No one. Well, that is until, ever. But also until they were hit with this group's biggest controversy yet, the allegations against Fedmyster. Lily and Yvonnie threw massive and very public sexual assault allegations at Fed. This somehow devolved into a massive debate across the internet about who was in the right, but no matter the debate, everyone eventually moved on. He was completely removed from the group and left the internet entirely for pretty much a year. Over the coming years, they would include a lot of their newest friends in the videos to collaborate with. They would get a robot dog and honestly slow down quite a lot with the Pokimane clickbait in favor of Micheal instead. And now they are a family of 9, with the recent addition of Quarter Jade, Masayoshi, and Sydeon. And that's without mentioning the horrifying day marked in the history books when Brodin joined OfflineTV as the main director, and oh my god, they would never forget that.
Fuck you, bro.
fuck you, bro.
Wait. Oh, fuck you, bro.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, bro.
Can we fire Brodin?
And now that we have this out of the way, I'm going to be exploring each member's content and history individually to try and understand what Offline is at its core. Who are these people, and why do some of them eventually steer very heavily towards controversies? What makes some of them so loved and others quite hated? All of these questions and more will be vaguely answered in the last 20 seconds of this video. Let's get rolling! Let's start off with the man that's been in the game since the beginning, Scarra. And quick note, a bunch of these people don't have solid timelines or huge fan pages about their histories, which is probably for the better, so take what I say with a grain of salt. That is if I say anything at all, considering I kind of want to preserve the little privacy they may have left. Alright, William Lee, born in 1989, has quite the history online. And in particular, you probably know him through the worldwide sensation in gaming, League of Legends. The quick success of League sparked a massive reaction across the internet, which created a huge community on the small website soon to be known as Twitch.tv. But the other thing this success caused was the creation of esports teams within it. Players could literally be signed on to compete in what would later become a massive event surrounding League. And all of this lined up perfectly for one of the game's most passionate players, Scarra, to take advantage of. As the years went on and Scarra became more interested in online content creation, he eventually created a Twitch account in 2012. He began his gaming content during Season 2 of League's Championship Series, seeing initial success before taking a few losses and eventual disqualification. He would go on to perform very well across the next 2 seasons he competed in before retiring from the championship in early 2014. But hey, one look at Wikipedia and you can easily find that his time was pretty well spent, winning multiple events and actually making quite a bit of money off of it. After he left Twitch, he went to YouTube and pretty much exclusively made content here until 2017, when he created OfflineTV, launching him back into the streaming game. He re-emerged on Twitch, creating literally just whatever he wanted, anything that would make him and his audience happy. You can find Scarra doing everything from torturing his friends on their OTV Minecraft server to meeting other booming creators to, and it's Among Us. It is always Among Us. And on the OTV side of things, he became the sort of businessman slash, I guess, dad of the group. He was the wise father figure that everyone would go to for help. Maybe not the most accurate way to say it, but it's funny and, I mean, a little true. However, online, Scarra fell into a bit of a mixed bag. It would be absurd to call him unpopular. He's a very widely known and successful creator, but maybe overshadowed by the bigger names he worked with wouldn't be too big of a stretch. I don't particularly find his content on YouTube or really Twitch all too entertaining personally, but to say the man himself is not an entertainer would be far from correct.
It looks like it's an axe. It feels like it's an axe. It looks and feels like an axe. It's an axe!
So fans have come to love him as more of a relaxed and wholesome aspect of OTV, and he has held on with the group since the beginning. He has stuck with the members of OfflineTV through everything they have gone through. But considering everything I just went over, I would say that at this point in his career, he's reached a pretty awesome point in his life. He streamed every single day of 2019 somehow, reached over 1.5 million followers on Twitch, and as a fun little cherry on top, he recently got sent a mountain of packages during OfflineTV's Christmas unboxing video. And then side note, while I was writing this, he finally went kayaking with his prize from their 2020 White Elephant event. These have just been such fun ways to circle his career back around into the story. Scarra highlights the staggering success of OTV and their push past the negatives thrown at them, and through it all ending up on top and better than ever. It only makes sense that we started with his story, but it's about time we moved on to the other members. Some that have gotten, maybe let's just say, a bit too well known. Alright, thankfully my videos don't get enough views for people to yell at me for pronunciation, but next up, Jeremy Wong, aka Disguised Toast. Someone who I'm just going to be calling Toast for the sake of simplicity. Toast was born in 1991 in Taiwan, moving around a bit before settling in Canada, where he would start up a YouTube and Twitch account. Toast's career began with little Hearthstone clips, streams, and playthroughs, and this man played right into the hearts of dedicated fans of the series with random memes and references to the game. He played and recorded this game for years on end, and it was his entire brand for a long time. He even won a Hearthstone tournament in 2017, meeting Conan later that year, which marks the first time I've ever even so much as considered that the name Disguised Toast is meant to sound similar to This Guy's Toast. And in the middle of all of these tournaments, he would eventually come to join OfflineTV. He had joined the group a little after they had hit 100,000 subscribers over on YouTube, and he quickly fit right in. He would constantly show up in videos either as a smart character or a money-hungry one, or sometimes a smitten character. And with this collaboration with OTV, he began branching to League of Legends, Pokimane, Teamfight Tactics, and Facebook Gaming. Excuse me, what? That's right. In 2019, Toast switched to Facebook Gaming to stream instead of Twitch. He was supposedly offered over 30 times what he was getting from Twitch, so honestly what's more surprising than him switching is him staying for 2 years. It was around here where we began to see a pattern with him over on OfflineTV, which is his chaotic side. He's the most extroverted introvert the world has ever seen. And Michael hadn't joined yet, that's why I say that. Alright, but let's be real here. The star of this segment isn't the love life, and it's not the Hearthstone. It's not even Toast himself. Say it with me. It's Among Us. In 2020, Toast began really changing his content on all platforms. He moved very far from the games he was most well known for, shooting for everything until it stuck. And those shots sure ended up sticking when he came across the small Mafia-esque game I'm sure everyone here is aware of by now, Among Us. He collaborated with a number of other streamers to create the first of many Among Us streams and later YouTube videos. This was right at the beginning of what would become the massive roller coaster of success that Among Us became. And because of said roller coaster, these videos, next to Corpse Husbands, became the epicenter of Among Us's explosion on these streaming sites. Toast streams brought together hundreds of streamers across the year and a half these went on for, and it's hard not to say that a lot of Among Us's success, and even a lot of streamers that grew with it, have probably been directly influenced by Toast's streams. And nowadays it's been a lot of fun watching him go out and make content outdoors. And he's even been returning to Among Us every now and then, which has made for a nice balance of content. Toast's story is an interesting one, going from a small Canadian Hearthstone streamer to a massive collaborative variety gaming streamer that has helped shape an entire genre of content. He's the example of OfflineTV's absolute reach across the internet, whether that be their collaborations and huge friend group, or giant impact on streaming culture and their community around them. I'm sure we'd all totally love me to keep talking about Among Us, but this is quite a big video and we've got lots to talk about, so let's keep this train rolling and talk about LilyPichu. Up next on this Pokédex is Lily Key, who you probably know as LilyPichu. I already said that, I don't know how you're this Lily was born in 1991 and began her time on YouTube the earliest in the entire group, uploading her own music to the site in 2011. It was song after song with no success, and I'm just kidding, this little parody about never quitting League of Legends blew up pretty early on in her music career, and by that I mean it was her second video. Lily's videos were often a combination of her art and original music, but every so often she would slip into video games and IRL recordings. Once she began streaming on Twitch, she followed a similar pattern to Scarra's, playing League 24/7. A disturbing pattern if ever there was one. Her streams performed about how you'd expect a beginning streamers to perform, but her channel on YouTube was growing a lot quicker. She covered all sorts of game, instrumental, and character themes. However, when she began uploading stream clips and highlights to her YouTube channel, that's when it truly began to take off. Her chemistry with the friends she had on charmed and entertained the viewers, while her
With my life. You defend this, I will never make fun of your chest size ever again. Holy shit, your tits are small!
other content seemed to attract an audience as well. People loved her unique music, fun editing, interesting drawings and animations, and overall wholesome aesthetic. She quickly moved into more personal, live entertainment over songs, but never completely stepped away from her roots. Storytime animations, stream highlights, and unique covers riddled her channel at this point in time. And this theme stayed just like this, all the way to her eventual collaboration with a face you should be pretty familiar with by now, Scarra. Lily, in June of 2017, would join a group of streamers set out to create an online organization full of content creators. And in July of 2017, the group went public, under the name OfflineTV. You already know the story. Again, why do I have to repeat it for you, you dumb? Lily began some strong ties with the likes of Pokimane and Poke, but the strongest tie of them all would be with Albert Chong. I looked this up and I still don't think it's right. Albert was a longtime musician and league player. He primarily made violin covers while streaming whatever he got his hands on over on Twitch. Albert and Lily grew very close, forming a relationship in mid to late 2018. The group went wild, the internet went crazy, and the couple went... Yeah, that's the end of the sentence. They were the center of multiple of those cliche, like, cute moments compilations on YouTube, with every interaction between the two documented. However, with so much attention being drawn to them, one can only go so long before noticing the odd patterns found between their cute moments. At a convention OfflineTV went to, Albert would end up meeting someone named Scarra. In the moment, no one was able to pick up on the signs that seem obvious in hindsight. His drift from streaming with Lily in favor of Scarra, him constantly inviting over random people. So it came as a shock to the entire community when we were hit with the announcement that Albert had cheated on Lily with Scarra, leading to his departure from OfflineTV. This became a massive story covered all over Twitch. Millions of eyes were watching the end of this relationship. And Lily responds with this wholesome son of a. Lily would soon come to push through this drama, broken but prevailing. However, as shared with her chat months later, during their OfflineTV group trip in Japan, everybody went out to explore, while Lily had stayed back in sheer sadness. Everybody but Micheal Reeves, who had stayed back to spend time with Lily and make her more comfortable. This was the beginning of these two's close friendship. But this friendship was pretty short-lived. But that's because, after one stupid bet,
I would pay very good money if Lily was single by the end of the year.
Oh my god, alright.
Very good money.
Here, bet.
By the end of the year, you're not gonna be. You think you're not gonna be single?
I think I'm gonna be single. Okay.
This is the easiest bet of my fucking life.
How much money do you want to bet?
$1,000.
Okay, sure.
Easy.
Sure.
Lily and Micheal had begun dating. They began dating a little before Fed was removed from the group for sexually assaulting Lily and Yvonnie and maybe Poki. We'll get to that. So yeah, one massive controversy later, and the group yet again is somehow managing to make amazing content despite their careers dangling above a hungry blue bird. Lily and Micheal are what we here like to call the power couple of the internet. Lily is primarily a vlogger nowadays on YouTube, but this would be ignoring her albums of original lo-fi, aka comfy beats, and mountains of hours of content on Twitch, along with her hilarious collaborations over on OfflineTV. Not to mention her newest album coming out. Oh, and have I mentioned the multiple games and shows she has voice acted in? Yeah, well that's kind of an important piece of the puzzle. Lily is just pure talent when you ignore the side of her that may have been a bit too affected by Micheal. OfflineTV, while a bunch of insanity wrapped up in a bow tie, it's a very high quality bow tie. All thanks to the talent creators like Lily bring to the table. And with so much discussion of Lily and relationships and crack, I think it's time we got to move on to one of the two you've been waiting to hear me talk about. Let's move on to boxing champion and taser extraordinaire, Micheal Reeves. Out of everyone I'm covering, Micheal is probably the last person you actually need to hear more about. For the longest time, he's been the group's most popular creator, with some of the internet's most classic viral videos. Micheal Reeves was born in November of 1997. Micheal continuously demonstrated that his skills and passion lay far beyond the average school and job. And this is pretty evident through the number of times he's said that he had to lie to even graduate high school. So fast forward to his college days when he gets the dumbest stroke of genius ever, a robot that tracks your face to shine a laser in it. After modeling, coding, building, testing, and filming it, he finally released his first video on the 17th of April, 2017. The stupid yet really interesting concept combined with his quick and even dumber humor made for an instantly viral video that garnered thousands of subscribers in just a day. He quickly turned his channel into a more helpful tutorial for programming and computer science. And after a quick break, he got back on track with typical YouTuber business. Highlights, tutorials, vlogs, demonetization, copyright claims, a horrifying comment section, ding-dings, and of course a taser machine. This was the beginning of the end, the beginning of the taser phase, and by phase I mean, I guess a lifestyle. And by this point he was pretty quickly settling in as the YouTube maniac we've come to know today. And he programmed a camera inside of an Elmo doll to detect your race and make very, very kind comments about it. This video would be followed with a quick move to LA where he moved in with another science tech YouTuber, William Osman. Osman, that's how it's actually pronounced. Michael and William were pretty similarly sized channels at this point and began collaborating a decent amount. William appeared in Michael's millionth subscriber special, and Michael appeared in William's first clear sign of help, showing that Michael is infecting him a bit too much. Sorry, I meant his floor tasers. But soon, the stars would align and create a future Michael could have never dreamed of. It's the Roomba that—
Motherfucker! God fucking damn it! Are you fucking serious?
Michael reviewed terrible robot suggestions for a video one day and managed to find a suggestion requesting a Roomba that screams and swears when it runs into things. And as time went on, Michael and William got evicted, leading to a personal favorite of mine. And then in December of 2019, probably by force with tasers, Micheal Reeves became a member of OfflineTV. And soon after, he began his Twitch streams. His addition to the team brought an instant boost in views, considering that every video he was in before he joined, they just had featuring Micheal Reeves like 3 times in the description. It was an interesting time. His humor, genius ideas, and energetic personality carried some of the videos he was in, eventually leading to his face being plastered in more thumbnails than Pokimane. Wow. Now, I can't confirm that he's gotten everyone in that group addicted to meth, but I feel like it's an unspoken understanding from viewer to viewer. Honestly, OfflineTV was a great thing for Michael's viewers. He doesn't post that often at all, but streaming and filming with OTV gave his fans so much more content from him. Even during the many months when he isn't uploading, he can still be found in any number of collaborations. And the internet sure as hell has gotten a lot of content out of the announcement that Michael and Lily had begun dating in early 2020. As much of a crackhead Michael appears to be, the internet has gotten crazy actually getting to see this really sweet and honest side from him. So yeah, in the 2 years it's been since his insane surgery robot project, he's posted only about 4 videos, but that doesn't take away from the sheer creativity behind them. He's the computer science version of Max Fosh, gone insane. Every idea is completely different from the last, and it always has some fun twists. This, to me, is exactly what Michael represents in the org. OfflineTV is generally always pushing for some new, fresh idea, or new take on an idea. And this mindset has created a multitude of fun videos. They've always proven to go, or at least try to go, above and beyond what your average influencer may do. And so, before we dive into the real darkness of this group, let's first dive into what happens behind the camera and those who really make this content possible. OfflineTV isn't just a few popular faces streaming, recording, editing, vlogging, producing, setting up, and managing every single video they record. They actually have an entire team. It's not incredibly easy making a sensible video out of this group's chaotic interactions, so they usually have a producer and editor to help turn their stupidity into views. Over the years, they've credited producers such as Mark Zimmerman, a League of Legends coach that appeared in their videos every so often. They've also worked with Josh Zell, who helped produce and manage past videos. Oh, and wouldn't you know, I'm not gonna brush by this, but Fed actually used to edit and direct some of these videos too. He actually did that quite a lot. They also constantly work with musicians and artists to get the feel of these videos absolutely right. Music from artists like TJ Brown and art from creators like Still Lindigo. And of course, with their videos becoming a lot more frequent and their cast growing alongside their ambition, they've recruited Stevo Tivo and Dunois to help edit their recent videos, like that massive camping video that just came out. 11 hours of raw footage. They really needed these guys. And of course, alongside all of these people, Max Olivo is the most recent addition, joining the team back in January to help direct these videos. However, no 2 members of the crew are more involved and arguably more important than Yvonnie and Brodin. Yvonnie, if anything, is really another streamer in the group rather than a manager. She began streaming back in 2016, and wouldn't you know, she pretty much just streamed League of Legends. This is still a concerning pattern. I'd say she had a pretty average growth, getting partnered in 2018 and making a decent number of online friends. But it was when she met Pokimane when her life began to change. Yvonnie was then added to OfflineTV the same year. Now, I know it may not be apparent, but she had always specialized in management when it came to this group. And next up is OTV's main director and producer, Brodin Plett. Brodin isn't particularly a streamer or vlogger or YouTuber. Well, he does do all of that, but not that much. Brodin's story lies in storytelling and directing. The man has an entire store online and a separate website dedicated to all the stuff he's worked on. He's got a history of directing commercials for companies and Pokimane. Eden is the name of a short film that he worked on years back. Turns out it's pretty good. He even got 2 awards for it. But alas, as good as his film and commercials may have been, we all know the man for his directing on OfflineTV, which started in 2020. And even while managing all of this content, he still got the time to collaborate with Julian Connor to create music on Templev. Templev actually being their band. He even recently tweeted about a song of theirs gaining over 1 million streams over on Spotify. I don't think I even need to continue really. Everyone I just named has put in so much effort to make this content possible and watchable. As much credit as I give to the actual personalities of the channel, it's always important to talk about the people behind it. And if I didn't have to cover the entire Fed drama, then I probably would have spent a lot more time on this. But alas, we are about to take a turn into the darker side of this group. Iman Anis, born in May of 1996 in Morocco. Wait, really? Dang. She would later move to Quebec, a province in Canada, where she would grow up and develop her love of video games. I don't think I need to bore you with the details I've repeated like 5 times. She liked games, so she made a career. Bada bing, bada boom. Anyway, she started streaming in late 2013, but can someone please tell me why every single online article about her history completely skips over the first few years and just goes right to her blowing up in 2017? Oh wait, right, it's because every one of these just copies off of Wikipedia. In the midst of her early days streaming, she created a YouTube channel, or 3, and began uploading highlights of her playthroughs to one of them. She too, much like nearly everyone I've named so far, began her success with the one and only League of Legends. I think it's safe to say that Poki clearly was streaming to actually enjoy herself at first. She was having fun diving into whatever the hell she could get her hands on. But if anything became clear, it's that with time her audience began to grow not because of her long-ass League stream, nor her very quick highlights, but it was largely...
Hi Drastic, hi Nav, hi Squirtle, thank you for the 2... Oh my god! Oh no. Oh. Ow.
Oh wait, okay, no, never mind, she figured out. Yeah, as Poki's cosplaying content and other clips began succeeding over most, she began to realize an unfortunate truth that still plagues a lot of female content creators. You have a very small chance of succeeding if you aren't hot, and you'll succeed if you exploit it a lot more. Poki plays with a shy and innocent, quirky streamer girl persona to appeal to her viewer base. She learned the reactions they wanted to see, and the questions they wanted answered, and the thumbnails they wanted to click on. It was around here when she collaborated to become one of the founding members of OfflineTV. Over time, OTV became somewhat of a safe haven for Poki, at least in my eyes, I think. This character on OfflineTV is a lot less Poki and a lot more Iman. She's always acting a lot more real and being a lot funnier and having a genuinely good time, even poking fun at the tropes in her usual streams. Like, I actually have a fun time watching her in these videos. That's not to say her streams and YouTube videos are bad, but... okay, yeah, maybe it is. I just genuinely can't handle this hollow, algorithmic, and unfunny persona she plays in these streams. It's just so... I don't particularly like... Scarra, for example, I mentioned this earlier. He doesn't ever really make content that grasps my attention. The difference is that Scarra is such a fun and cool guy, and I enjoy seeing him. It's a similar thing with Yvonnie, but I gotta say, Yvonnie on her YouTube channel has an amazing editor. I don't know what it is. Sorry, I've gotten off track. My point is that it's fun seeing Poki, someone who has shown time and time again to supposedly be nothing more than a living clickbait machine for 12-year-olds, actually having fun with herself and friends in OTV. Okay, Lord, I gotta speed this up. I kind of feel bad for making Scarra and Toast sections so short. Okay, during OfflineTV, Poki would develop a lot of close relationships. One in particular caused a lot of speculation on the internet. Her friendship with Fedmyster. They were very, very close, and very platonically so. Following her OfflineTV inclusion, she began exploding on the internet. She gained hundreds of thousands of followers in months, skyrocketing her to fame instantly. She also shifted very heavily onto Fortnite content. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, this is a bit more of a personal thing, but holy shit! shit, how the hell do you people enjoy these dog shit Fortnite playthroughs? I can't stand any goddamn videos of this game, let alone this Alright, we're in the very distant and cursed land of 2018, and it's time for Poki's massive first up. Okay, so this YouTube reporter Keemstar did a little bit about this streamer SS Sniper Wolf photoshopping her waist to appeal to her male audience. Then, over on Twitter, when his loudmouth tweeted about it, one of her hardcore stans responded asking why he was always hating on her. Keem called him a virgin as a joke, and then Poki called Keem out. Poki claimed that it was cruel for Keem to be this rude to just some random fan, to which Keem responded by calling her a fraud, attempting to peel back what he saw as this false cutesy persona. And Poki responded by making fun of him, real mature way to respond to this topic in particular, but that's besides the point. I've been building this drama up to set the stage for this YouTuber, Boblax. This creator made a compilation of the entire drama, which Poki did not like. It was clear that this persona Keemstar covered was slipping, and Poki wanted all of it gone, copyright claiming the entire video and removing its revenue in the process. This was a shitty move, and everyone knew it. She got called out and eventually had to put it back up. Her response was even worse, not really taking accountability. It's stupid, but it's what I expect from the internet now. What I'm baffled by, though, is her reasoning. I'm sure you know one of her most viral clips. It's up there with,
"Nigga, you ain't funny."
And it's so stupid. She is calling out Boblax for putting zero work into the video and pretty much just making money off of other people's content. Now live with that information. Think about what she just said, that this guy puts in no effort and makes money off of other people's content. Now go watch one of Poki's streams, because I don't think she does that. Just think about this. She does the same thing every day. I'm not going to pretend like it isn't difficult to stream for 8 hours a day and maintain a fake, innocent personality throughout it. But holy shit, her streams are literally her there just sitting, eating, making a cute face, and doing jack shit. Another instance that she got lots of flack for was when she sent her fans to dislike bomb and basically harass a YouTuber named It's a Gundam for calling out Poki in a video where they covered the awful side of her simping fanbase. She claimed before and after that she never intends or intended to send actual hate, just feedback to the creator, but we all know what this actually means. Her swooning fanbase won't give a shit what she says after they hear that someone is calling out their queen. It's a complete misuse of the fanbase that she's gained. And for someone so smart in growing and maintaining an audience through these tactics, she clearly has no clue how to use it for good. Only for money. It was in the midst of all of these controversies when the internet did what it does best. They dug up old clips of Yvonnie saying and doing things. There have been plenty of clips of her saying slurs and verbally harassing children on Fortnite and making very insensitive jokes. I truly could chalk these earlier clips up as a younger, more unprofessional and unaware content creator very early into their game, making just whatever jokes they could to grow an audience, but far later into her career, these patterns still stay. There's a clip of her faulting this goddamn child in front of 30,000 viewers for apologizing for a video about Poki. It's just so stupid. Genuinely, as much as I love her over on OfflineTV, I do not know how she wasn't removed from the group. No, okay, fine. No, yeah, I do. It's views and money and thumbnails. Poki has continued through all of these controversies, just still playing Fortnite. And I still, through all of this, have to make it clear that I really have no problem with people like, first of mind, Amaranth. Amaranth is an online streamer that makes very provocative content for horny guys. There's no other way to put it. She and Poki do, I don't want to say similar, but yeah, they do similar stuff in really different ways, though. They have fun and use their looks and persona to make a shit ton of money online. The difference lies in that Amaranth uses this without hurting anyone. Amaranth is far more comfortable with the landscape and is very smart with the cards she plays. Poki has showed time and time again to misuse her platform, not understanding the scope of the army she's creating. And all of this has recently been topped off with her misogyny journey. Another streamer decided to raid her, which, if you don't know, raiding is basically just at the end of someone's stream, all of their viewers go over to someone else's, but in telling his fans to be nice to her, they didn't do that, and they just trolled and did whatever they wanted. Poki then decided to try and twist the situation into calling out male streamers for their misogynistic actions. Like, what in the actual... I know that some of it is trolling. There's a pretty clear line where her genuine concerns become clickbaity jokes. But I have no goddamn clue how thick this line is. It's just such a shitty way to forcibly create more power for yourself and put yourself on this weird-ass pedestal. I know there is a good heart in Amon somewhere. We see a side of her all the time in OTV videos, but this complete lack of respect for so many of your peers and fans and some random strangers on the internet, this complete lack of composure and misuse of your power across years of controversies is becoming unbearable and inexcusable. On the one hand, she's a genius businesswoman who, by the way, I didn't even know she was partnered with Cloak, and I guess that's pretty cool, but she knows her way around an audience. But on the other hand, she's a confused newcomer that has zero clue how to build off of her past mistakes in positive ways. She is, by all means, a moderately alright person who's clearly still growing into this space. I just can't help but shake this feeling that there's an alternate timeline where she was removed from OTV. One where they saw through all of this bullshit and decided that she needed to learn a lesson. And I think we could have actually been living in this strange reality if it weren't for the actually misogynistic and perverted actions that Twitch streamer Fedmyster brought to the table. Federico Gayton. While it may not be a name you know too much about, you've certainly heard of his online persona, Fedmyster. Fed is a former member of OfflineTV who joined Twitch well back in 2013 but never actually took to streaming for years. He was hired later down the line as the editor of OfflineTV, even becoming a manager and producer with time. And something else you're going to have to know about Fed is, well, he was a bit of a troublemaker from the very beginning. It didn't take him but a few months to go from a simple, funny variety gamer to a bit of a pervert in Twitch's eyes. Fed, while seen as a dumb but still sweet and entertaining guy to most of his fans, definitely began to build a reputation. In November of 2018, he was creating a thumbnail for his YouTube channel, one that involved photoshopping Lily and Poki's chests for reasons. His fans found it funny, a lot more people found it a bit weird, and Twitch found it disgusting, banning him for a day. Funnily enough, his earliest available video on YouTube is him talking about this ban. But following his return to YouTube, he would end up joining the main OTV roster as an actual streamer in front of the camera, participating in their challenges. His role on the channel would go back and forth. Sometimes he'd record the group, sometimes he'd be on the side throwing in a few jokes, and sometimes he was the center of attention. He'd even play different characters similar to Toast and grow to collaborate with loads of creators. And across all of this, he was banned four more times. So yeah, he isn't a stranger to the sticky waters of Twitchland. However, outside of a few toxic fans, he had never met the insane world of Twitter cancellations. But before we get into that, did you know that this emote, Fed7, was once the literal most used emote on Twitch? Huh. Alright, let's just get one thing clear here. I've gone over the history of OTV over and over and over again, and you've got to be getting sick of it by this point. And on top of this, I've been teasing the big internet splitting controversy between the ladies of OTV and Fed. So I'm gonna quit the build-up. If you want to know more about Fed, Wikipedia ain't that hard of a site to search. But all I want you to understand is that Fed often made eerie sexual comments about the women in this group. To the viewer, this was another character of Fed's, but he also became touchy both on camera and apparently behind. It's also worthy to note that many rumors spread across the internet about Poki and Fed possibly dating when that was never really gonna happen. So, setting the stage. Yvonnie had a boyfriend. Lily was and is still dating Micheal, and Poki had always shut down rumors of her and Fed dating. So please tell me what he was thinking when he sexually harassed multiple of these streamers. Let me explain. Yvonne began her day by deciding to finally release a massive twitlonger, twitlongers being a document people use to exceed the word limit on Twitter, about how uncomfortable she was with Fed and his actions. Her tweet described a night where a drunk Fed entered her room and laid in her bed. Now, according to the members of OTV, this wasn't an unusual occurrence, as Fed was a fairly close and friendly member of the house, but Yvonne was shocked to realize that Fed had moved to touching her, kissing her hand, and even slipping his hand in her shirt. After this, he had pretended to fall asleep and not remember this at all, only to leave, continuing this narrative until he came into her room weeks later, confirming that he did actually remember it and apologized. This would have been all well and good if only he hadn't then, 10 minutes later, repeated the same creepy behavior. Yvonne explained that she had struggled to reveal all of this for months and months because she was worried OTV would come crashing down. Yvonne had gone from spending a lot of time with this great friend to doing everything she could to avoid this creepy roommate. She eventually had all of this build up into her finally trying to confront Fed, during which he minimized the situation only to ever focus on if anyone else knew. And throughout months of him continuing similar triggering actions, Fed would go to Lily and repeat this pattern. Fed had used Lily's very recent breakup with Albert as a means to begin this behavior with her, and Lily had gone on to also minimize the situation in her head and begin to feel horrible. But the internet had begun to take issue with these stories, as they were published around the same time genuine predators were also being blasted online, and the internet saw this as OTV taking advantage of this environment to make Fed's actions appear way worse than they were. And then Pokimane, in the midst of this drama, decided to share her own troubled connection with Fed in a response video. Poki would describe how Fed would weirdly try and shut down her attempts at getting with someone she liked, and how they had tried to keep a more distant friendship. She even says that Fed used Yvonne and Lily's responses to him to spread lies across the group about them, and it didn't take very long for Toast and Scarra to approach Fed just to try and help him and learn what was going on in his head. There's even a great all-encompassing story made by Black Wolf Company where they covered another creator, Plushies, who had another very uncomfortable story about Fed, where he got her to cuddle and continued to be very overly touchy every step of the way. They all had to make comments online to try and let the internet understand the reasoning behind his official removal of the group on June 28th, 2020. But Fed couldn't just step away and learn from this. He decided to go down swinging to bring Poki down with him. Fed outlined texts between Poki in which he felt led on by her, showing texts ranging from very flirtatious tones to decent pals. But this was all wrapped up in a document Poki and Fed had supposedly agreed to keep private until it was supposedly leaked. So in response, Poki so brilliantly decided to live stream her reaction and respond to it. Considering her past live streams similar to this one, we're just gonna ignore that whole situation and move on to her own document response, which became just about as scathing as Fed's original document. The thing is, with Pokimane's document came the realization that both of these two had been manipulating aspects of the story this entire time. Fed had taken what Poki said out of context, and she made sure that we knew it. However, to do so, she revealed that her comments weren't all too provoked in the beginning. There were separate conundrums, like with the streamer Jody, where Fed said Poki was jealous of her hanging out with Fed, which clearly wasn't true. However, Poki did certainly say some things that could easily have been seen as somewhat possessive. So yeah, the entire situation ended up boiling down to a Fed v Poki drama, filled with so much bullshit you can't help but fault both of them. But I don't want to walk away with that view. It's easy to leave this controversy simply saying that Poki and Fed messed up and move on, but that would be ignoring the original issue. Fed sexually harassed his roommates. Was it maybe blown out of proportion? In some ways it could have been, but this is only in the internet's reaction. You can't excuse Fed's initial behaviors towards Yvonne, or how he used Lily, or his really gross actions in Plushie's bed. These girls' lives were made scary and uncomfortable by this one man's disgusting actions, and their genuine feelings about the situation were swept away amid the rest of the events during this time. Everything about Fed spelt creepy and untrustworthy, and so the group felt it would be best if he stepped away to learn and try and grow from it. Then he came back in 2021 having not done any of that. It's what you expect when creators try and make an apology video and then return from some big controversy. He uses his mental health to discreetly excuse his behavior that he never even describes in the video. I mean, I've seen loads of people come back from controversies. Jeffree Star is a disgrace of a human and shouldn't even have a platform. We've seen this time and time again, but he's big enough to have amassed an audience that ignores these. David Dobrik is a scary, scary man that's done some truly disgusting stuff, but he's crafted a decent enough apology to barely lose any of his audience. Even people with smaller audiences and controversies like Call Me Carson have bounced back. But Fed stumbled every step of the way, losing his fans through a terrible initial response and not having a strong enough apology or audience to continue his career. At the end of the day, Fed has fallen to represent the dark side of content creation and online groups. He is representative of the rocky state this group becomes every so often, showing just how unstable their future may be. And even with their most recent inclusion of Quarter Jade, Masayoshi, and Sydeon, you can't help but wonder what the next massive controversy will be, and whose head is on the chopping block this time around. OfflineTV as a group has gone through everything the internet could hurl at them, and have grown incredibly strong and close through it. Fed's controversy aside, there are so many little things, hate pieces, slip-ups, rumors, and more that just get in the way of this group's full potential, and yet they keep going. I know it's a bit more of a personal edition here, but I just find it insane that they have consistently found the right people with the right entertaining energy to always keep the content far from stale. If one thing's clear, I've been trying to demonstrate that every member is a clear representation of a major element of this group. And through this demonstration, I wanted to show that these members are unique in their own right, and yet all come together to create such a great group. And I can't wait to see how their newest members play into this idea. Which, by the way, can we just quickly cover all of the insane new stuff that's been happening since I started writing this video? Michael stunned the internet by absolutely dominating a boxing match. Lily has moved from Twitch to streaming on YouTube, and she's become one of the defining faces of this big switch that a bunch of creators have been going through. Poki has taken a big hiatus from content creation, as is Toast in some ways. The group, along with a ton of their online peers like Fuslie and Valkyrie, had gone on a massive trip to Japan. This led to a lot of stuff. Those clickbait clips channels got mountains of content, Sydney got a lot of traction on her YouTube channel, and Toast went through an existential crisis. And if I'm not mistaken, he's the only one in this group that is still in Japan to this day, as of recording. Right now, the creators do find themselves a little scattered, with less of a cohesive path in front of them. I have nothing but excitement as they expand their brand into new genres and partnerships and McDonald's collaborations. Alright, that one's new. But I do think this troubled history may still have an effect to this day. Being in the positions that they are in can be tough and stressful, and this group highlights the ups and downs better than any other out there. Michael and Lily are reaching out into new opportunities they've never had before, while Poki and Toast are taking a step back to ask if this is really what they want in life. So it's going to be an interesting time watching this new group of streamers take to the stands as a part of the family, as they become the newer generation of this group to really indulge in the content creation for the masses. Well, them, and of course, the Dawn. Thanks for watching.